Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I do these videos on Wednesday. I post them all up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They are all over the world. So if you need to get to an online therapist, go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez, and they will set you up with a licensed professional, master's level or PhD level therapist that can help you. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay. So let's dive into the questions. Okay. Let's see. Feeling abandoned with my husband's job. He's been going out on fun events that include alcohol with work, team building trips. I'm very alone now, still isolated. That especially now that my dog has passed. Oh, I'm sorry. Why does he make me feel so pathetic, telling me that I am jealous and insecure? He knows I have abandonment and separation issues and betrayal trauma. Okay, well, listen, here's the deal. If somebody is really good for you and they know you have separation issues, abandonment issues, they will never, listen to me now, believe me later, never put you down, make fun of you, make you wrong, etc. for having said abandonment/separation issues. So if a spouse is doing that, that's not okay. That's not normal. That's not healthy. And that is certainly not okay. So don't put up with it. It's like, no, you don't get to judge me for that. Thanks for playing. So I feel like I have a pencil sticking out of my head here. Hold on. There we go. So yeah, so that's not okay. So, yeah. So people that do that have their own issues. You know, I don't have them in front of me, but all I can tell you is that's not healthy. That's not normal. So don't put up with it. Okay. When I was a little girl, I would completely freak out when my mom would leave. My little cousins would try to calm me down. I felt like something horrible was going to happen and never see her again. Is this why I would completely freak out and worry when my mom would leave? This was very often, and as a young adult in my relationships, I had a horrible time letting go. All were abusive. Yeah, absolutely, 110%. They gift us, and I'm putting gift in bunny ears, with this horrible sense of anxiety, this horrible sense of abandonment, this horrible sense of impending doom. So, you know, and especially if we had a parent that was a worrywart and constantly worried, and we learn from watching them. So if they were worrywarts and constantly worrying, or if they made a big deal about the separation, that would cause a lot of that. You know, the best thing that parents can do is not be helicopter parents, to encourage the kid to go into the other room, to learn how to walk on their own, to whatever. Narcissistic parents have a tendency to really play up the fears. They like to instill fear in their children. So yeah, this could be. And honestly, get with a good trauma therapist. Get with a good trauma therapist. Deal with whatever was going on that created that sense of separation, or that fear of being separated, or whatever. The fact that there has been multiple relationships that were abusive. So generally what goes on is that our inner child looks outside of ourselves and goes, oh, look, somebody over there who kind of sort of reminds me of the parent or caregiver that I had the most difficult time with. I know if I can make them love me, I prove mom and dad wrong. Half of a doo-doo sandwich, half of a doo-doo sandwich. Total doo-doo sandwich. So you want to figure out what is driving that urge to get with somebody that's abusive, you know, or that is needing help, or, you know, somebody that you think you can fix, or whatever. So how do they remind you of your caregiver that was abusive? That's really the first step. Second step, work on CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker, The Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker, Inner Child Workbook, Catherine Taylor, or Lucia Cappuccioni, The Body Keeps Score, Bessel van der Kolk. All of those are really, really great books to read and help you understand yourself. The Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. That's a wonderful book to help you understand yourself. So, as a young adult, my relationships were all abusive. So generally, it's because our inner child is picking somebody that reminds us of our abuser so that we can heal it, so that we can fix it. But it never heals or gets fixed that way. The only way to heal it and fix it is to hit it head on in therapy, journal it out, write it out, figure out what was going on, hand it back to the abuser. It's not mine, it's yours. And I don't mean you need to talk to them. You don't need to have contact with them. It can be as simple as writing them a goodbye letter and handing it all back to them. And you may need to do that several times. So it's understanding you're not the problem. They were. So really work on that. Get with a good trauma therapist. That would be the best suggestion. Okay. All right. Say that you're upset and there's probably a decent solution out there, but they'd rather say there's nothing we can do. Is that a lazy, annoyed, narcissistic response and want you to feel powerless? Well, I don't know. It could be. Generally, if you're upset, your partner usually, if they're healthy in any way, shape, or form, is going to ask you, do you want me to pull out my toolbox and fix this or help you fix this? If they're unhealthy, they either will poo-poo it or put you down or make you wrong, or they'll not even ask if you want it fixed and they'll start trying to fix it when that's not what you want. You want to vent. So it's really a healthy partner asks questions and is engaged and interested in how you're feeling and what you need and all of that sort of good stuff. So it's all about communication. So if they're not communicating, then that's a huge red flag. Ginormous, huge red flag. And especially if they're like, I don't care, there's nothing we can do. Move. There is always something to do. There is always something that can be done about an issue. It may be wait. That might be something that needs to be done. Be patient. That might be something that needs to be done. Or it might be soothing the person, helping the person self-soothe. Or it might be, yeah, here's what we can do. But, just to be like, well, there's nothing we can do. That is so unempowering. So unempowering. And if it's coming from an abuser, that's intentional. They want you to feel unempowered. If it's coming from somebody who, doesn't know how to communicate, well, that's just bad communication. Do you see where I'm going with that? So not having the person in front of me, I can't tell you for sure, but that's not healthy. That's not normal. Healthy partners generally are engaged and involved in their partner. And, if the partner is needing something, they ask. It's like, do you want me to fix this? Do you want me to just vent? Do you want to just, do you want to just vent? Do you want me to listen? What do you need right now? How can I help you feel better? Because if you love somebody, you want the best for them and you want them to feel okay. That doesn't mean you do the work for them. That means that you're an ear. You're available and you're listening and you try to find solutions for them if that's what they're needing. So, and sometimes people do. Sometimes people get stuck and they need to be comforted and they need a direction. And, sometimes when I get like that with John, I will tell him that. I will say, I'm stuck. I need to be comforted and I need a direction. Help me, and we'll talk it out. And that's what healthy couples do. Talk it out. Have good communication. So hope that answered that question. I realized during the earlier part of Chris's talk on Sunday that I'd never grieved the death of the only family member who was kind to me. How do I grieve it now without minimizing because it was so long ago? So our society is so messed up about death, it's not even funny. So death, grieving, okay, doesn't matter how long ago it was. It doesn't matter if it was 2 hours ago. It doesn't matter if it was 20 years ago. It's still a loss. So you honor that. You honor that. So grieving is really acknowledging the love that has nowhere to go. Write them a letter. Dear whoever it was, dear grandma, dear aunt, dear uncle, dear grandpa, dear whoever it was that was the person that was kind to you. Let them know how much that meant to you and how much you miss them and how much it affected you that they're dead. So we've got this weird thing about death in this society, and I think it's because we have so many narcissists in our society, that they don't want to talk about death. They don't want to grieve. They don't want other people to grieve. When I worked at the Dougie Center and when I worked at the New Song Center, we would have people that had lost children, and the bosses would be demanding within a week that they stop crying. If that's not a narcissist or a psychopath, I don't know what is. So, yeah, so it's really a matter of giving yourself permission. I give myself permission to mourn the loss of this very, very, very important person in my life that I never got the chance to grieve. And so you allow it and you write it out, or one way to honor their memory is to take note of, their birthday or whatever, go have their favorite meal, talk about them, look at pictures of them, allow yourself to feel. So grief is just love that has nowhere to go. I know that it's love that has nowhere to go. The person is gone and we don't have a way to tell them. So the best way to tell them is to write it, trot it out to the barbecue, let the smoke carry the words. That's really the best way to do it. And it's a lifelong thing. My grandmother died when I was, 8 years old, almost 9. And I miss her to this day. I love her. I think about her. She was awesome. She and I were very simpatico. We got along really great. I don't know how the hell she produced my father. But, it's like, and so to honor that, I talk about her. Or I, look at some of her things, or I, look at pictures of her or whatever. And it's allowing yourself to have whatever feelings come up. There is no wrong answer. And you grieve it however you need to. Some people need to go to the gravesite. I don't think they're there, and I would hope they're not there. I like to look at pictures when they were alive. I like to have recipes that they used to make, that I really enjoyed, or go do the things that they used to like to do, that kind of thing. Or however it is that you want to honor them. If you need to go to the gravesite, go to the gravesite. If you need to do the things that they used to like to do, do that. If you want to talk about them, talk about them. If you want to look at their pictures, look at their pictures. And then just allow. Allow. I don't so much get the, because this was, good Lord, 40 years ago. I don't so much get or 50 years ago, wow. I don't so much get the intense grieving, the intense sobbing. Sometimes I really do miss her. And then I miss my mom too, so sometimes I will still cry about my mom for sure. But, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just like, girl, we need to talk. You will not believe what happened today, and then I talk to her as if she was still here. So, however you need to do it. And that's okay. So one of the things that I do, especially with my mom, is when I'm driving, I'll pretend she's sitting next to me, or I'll pretend I'm talking to her on the phone, and I'll just tell her everything that's going on. Oh, you will not believe what just happened. You will not believe what my sisters are doing. You will not believe blah, 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 blah. And just, talk to her as if she were still alive. So there that is. Now, in some cases, if it's really you're stuck or you're worried about them or whatever, I have recommended clients go see a psychic medium. Seriously, so that they can put their minds at ease. And if you do go do that route, then make sure it is a reputable one. Make sure it is somebody that's not just going to be taking your money and having you keep coming back because you need to keep paying them in order for them to be safe. You don't want to do that. Here in Phoenix, Chicks with Spiritual Gifts. Elizabeth is amazing. I love her to death. She's a friend of mine. If that brings you comfort, do that, And like I said, it could be anything from that to writing and burning to just talking out loud. So you grieve the way you need to. And don't you let anybody make you wrong for it. So there is that. Okay, let's see. Answered that one. Okay, what if you think you're on the same page as your partner with communication? Then they are moving the goalposts constantly, making you do more carrot dangle breadcrumbing. I feel deceived. That's a typical narc thing. So moving the goalposts, carrot dangling, and breadcrumbing, that is a typical narc thing. So it's kind of like, oh, if you go here, I'll love you. Oh no, if you go here, I'll love you. Oh no, if you go here, I'll love you. So that's really a red flag. That is a ginormous, huge red flag. So healthy, normal people don't move the goalpost. They don't. They don't, because they're not interested in making their partner wrong. So, and they're not interested in making their partner work for it. No, it's, if you're with them, you're with them. There's no working for it. It's like, be respectful. Love is respect. Respect is love. And that's not respectful. Moving the goalpost, that's a disrespect. That should be on your list of deal breakers. So you want to write up your list of deal breakers. No disrespect. No name calling. No lying. No cheating. No stealing. No manipulating. No gaslighting. No, none of that stuff. No thank you. So that's a deal breaker. So you want to take a good, long, hard look at that. Okay, let's see. Okay, did that one? Did that one? Did that one? Okay. Did that one? Okay. Afraid of being alone is one thing. What about being very good at being alone? Okay, that's kind of the same coin flip side. So it's balance, guys. It's balance. It's great to be good at being alone, but it's also important to socialize. And it's also important to have your support system, right? We are pack animals. We are kind of like dogs. We need each other. We like to be around other people. We do. You know, especially if they're simpatico and supportive and kind and encouraging and all of that stuff. So isolating is not something you want to do either. It's okay to spend time alone. It's okay to be good at it, but it's also important to get out and socialize and see other people, talk to other people, commune with other people, as long as they're healthy. If they're healthy, huzzah, you know, and we are, what's the word I'm looking for? We are communal. We need other people. We just do. So isolating is kind of the same coin flip side of being afraid to being alone. So one side is I'm terrified of being alone. The other side is I isolate completely and I don't be around anybody. Same coin flip side. Balance. Balance is what you want. And remember, with narcissists, there is no balance. It's all nothing, good, bad, black, white, because they've got black and white thinking. So you really want to work on that. I would strongly suggest getting with a therapist and working on the fear. It could be a social anxiety. There could be that fear of, what if I get hurt? What if I can't trust people? What if, because that's, that happened to us. So we're, normally a little standoffish. So yeah, get with a good trauma therapist and work on that. Work on socializing. Work on allowing yourself to have connections. That's hugely important. Okay, I think that was all the questions. Let me double check. Okay, yeah. Okay, got it. All right, so that was all the questions. So this week on Sunday, I am going to be talking about shame. I want to be talking about handing that shame right back to the abuser because it's not yours. You don't deserve it. You don't need it. It's not going to help you. Hand it back. Okay, so we're going to talk about shame, and it's going to be titled, What a Shame. All right. Okay, you guys be good to each other. Drink plenty of water, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Bye.